So hey guys, welcome to another Warframe video, and today I kind of want to go over my favorite weapons for Wukong's Celestial Twin, because, I've played a lot of Wukong and I've tried pretty much all the weapons in the game, and some of them work better than others, and there are many reasons for it. Let's take the new Trumna rifle as an example. This on paper is a pretty solid weapon for the Celestial Twin. It has solid damage, decent fire rate, massive magazine, and it splashes, so it has a little bit of AoE, so the Twin doesn't have to be too accurate. And it actually looks quite fantastic when you first put it on the Twin, until you look at what the Twin is actually doing, which is going to be reloading 90% of the time, because while the Twin will never run out of ammo, it is hard-coded to randomly reload, and if you give him a weapon with a 5-second reload, he will be reloading about 90% of the time. Regardless of the fact that the weapon has 200 rounds in its magazine, he will happily fire off 2 or 3 shots and immediately start reloading. And this reload issue is only one of the things that will either make or break a weapon for the Celestial Twin. Range or fall off is another one where the Twin will happily fire at things that are well out of its range, doing either minimal or even no damage whatsoever. So picking the right weapon that the Twin can actually utilize properly makes a massive difference. Okay, so I picked 5 of the weapons that I use the most on the Twin, and he is very effective with them. So up first we have the KuvaBrahma. This has been nerfed quite a bit. They reduced the number of bomblets and you only have 5 arrows to begin with. Now the number of arrows here doesn't actually matter because, as I've said already, the Twin can never run out of ammo, so he can keep firing it forever, though the reduction in bomblets did bump the weapon down a little bit, because this straight up used to be the best weapon for the Celestial Twin before the change. Nowadays it's mostly for higher end content because the damage on the KuvaBrahma is still very high, but it's not great for lower level content anymore because, well, the coverage just isn't as good because of the reduced number of bomblets you get from each arrow. So even though the Twin will do a lot of damage with this weapon, it will be relatively slow when compared to some of the other weapons. So use this if you want more damage from the Twin, so if you're doing something like a Lich or you're running the Steel Path. For our next weapon, we go kind of to the other end of the spectrum, so somewhat low damage but crazy coverage, and we're gonna achieve that with the mighty Ignis Wraith. This one is much better suited for lower level missions where even the low end damage is still more than enough damage to take the enemies down, but you can still take it into higher level missions if you just want to use the Twin to spread around some status. The Ignis Wraith will also bypass an issue that you might run into with the Twin, where sometimes the Twin will not realize that there is a wall between him and the enemy he's trying to fire at with the punch through. Whereas with other weapons, the Twin can sometimes kind of get stuck and just keep firing at the enemy that's behind a wall, wondering why the enemy is not dying. So if you either want speed or utility in the form of many status procs on many enemies, pick the Ignis Wraith. Don't pick it for damage though. And the final primary we have here is the Exotron, which is sort of in between. It doesn't have quite as much damage as the KuvaBrahma, and it won't make the Twin clear quite as fast as the Ignis Wraith, but it has a good balance of both. This is the one that I personally use the most because, as I've said, it has a good balance of damage and clear. The Exotron has great damage, it has good projectile flight speed, which when combined with the splash damage from the explosion means the Twin doesn't actually have to lead the target, which the Twin is very bad at. It has pretty good fire rate, and the reload, well, it's 2 seconds, so the Twin will actually spend most of its time firing. So if you're looking for a good all-around weapon for the Twin, whether it be for normal missions or even the open world, definitely go for the Exotron. And now we have some secondaries, starting off with the Staticor. Now the Staticor is absolutely fantastic, and what you want to do here is actually alter your build a little bit and run some sort of fire rate. And that's because of the way the Staticor works, where you can fire it insanely fast if you press the fire button at the right speed. If you press it too slow, there will be a delay. If you press it too fast, you will start charging the weapon instead. Because here's the thing. The Twin will never charge the weapon, he will only tap fire it, and he will tap fire it at maximum fire rate. So even if you give him a ton of fire rate, he will just fire it really fast and turn it into an absolute machine gun of doom. Combine that with the solid damage, great status, and the splash, and you have an absolutely fantastic weapon for the Celestial Twin, with the only downside being the projectile speed, which isn't super high, so it's not amazing for open worlds or tile sets with big rooms. Plus the reload is only 1.5 seconds, so even if he does for some reason start reloading after every shot, it's still not going to be as big of a deal as with something like the Trumna. And the final weapon on the menu today is the mighty Kuva New Core. Now I do actually have a review for this one. It's New Core crit account for just some more crit chance and multi-shot. Now this one, it does great damage and it has awesome coverage as well because, well, it chains, so the twin only has to hit one enemy and it will usually burn down an entire room. But it does come with a downside, and that's its limited range, so it's not great for tile sets with big rooms or the open worlds, where the twin will often fire at things that are way too far away for the beam to actually connect. Now, if you're not up to Kuva Liches just yet, you can actually just run the Atomos instead, which is kind of like a weaker version of the Kuva New Core. But if you want to see some mad damage with great coverage, though be it with limited range, the Kuva New Core is the way to go. So those are the weapons that I personally like the most on Wukong's Celestial Twin. I hope you've enjoyed the video. Let me know what are your favorite weapons for the Celestial Twin in the comment section down below, and I'll see you some other time. Bye bye.